going.
Do you like to pay less and get more? Well, of course you do. And when it comes to football boots, there are a lot of really good value for money options out there. But today, I'm gonna tell you about one of the best kept public secrets in today's football boot world. And okay, that might be pushing it a bit because a lot of people know this, but I'll tell you why I think this €200 Mizuno Morelia Neo III Beta Elite should probably be one of the first boots you're looking at when you're going to buy a new pair. Because they mean business. But before we get to that, let me just paint you a picture of the Mizuno range, because if you know the Nike range, this can be a little bit confusing. Because on top, we've got the €305 Japan model, which is the best of the best. Then we've got the €200 Elite model, and finally we have the €120 Pro model. And the thing with the Japan model is that it's probably not unfair to call it the Rolls-Royce of football boots, because it's kind of the pinnacle of football boot engineering. It's using the very finest materials and have been built by hand by skilled craftsmen in Japan. Also, it's being double glued, the last time with a syringe instead of just once like the other brands do. And finally, it's been lasted, which means sitting on a wooden foot shape to give you the perfect fit for 24 hours instead of the industry standard, like everyone else does, which is just 20 minutes. So they care. And you can actually feel that attention to detail and love going into the crafting of the boot, because the fit and the way they just shape around your foot immediately as if you've worn them for years is something that you kind of need to try the boot to truly understand how good it feels. It is a slightly tight-fitting boot, will accommodate most foot shapes, but of course if you have a foot the shape of a fairy, well, it might not be for you. On the other hand, if you're looking for lightweight luxury or just want to give your feet that little extra something, well, these might just be the best you can get. Of course, they're very expensive, which is a bummer. But if you care enough and just want the best, the build quality and the fit in these is just on another level. So, disclaimer here, they're a bit addictive, so you should only try them if you're ready to fall in love and never want to wear anything else again. But let's be honest, guys, €305 is a lot of money. And some people might expect the boots to be able to make them a cup of coffee as well at that price point. They're not gonna. And you know, unless you're a super boot aficionado, but instead you also like to think about your wallet a little bit, I mean, I would say that the Elites might be the better choice for you, because there's a lot of bang for the buck in these, and actually they are relatively similar to the Japans, just significantly cheaper. With that said, you're not gonna get the 24-hour lasting. These are just lasted for 20 minutes. You're not gonna get the double bonding, and these are built in Indonesia like so many other brands' boots are, so definitely not a bad thing. What is good though is that you get the same leather as you get on the Japans. There's a little less foam behind it on the Elite, meaning that it's not as spongy and soft and admittedly as luxurious, but they break in extremely well, which is a big, big plus. Also, in comparison, the Elite has a little less foam in the heel and also features a different midfoot treatment of the mesh, meaning that it has a slightly less tight and snug fit. But it still gives you that very nice and sculpted sensation around your foot. The other good thing is that it has exactly the same knit tongue and the very same outsole as the Japan model, which means that both boots are more or less the same weight, around those 180 grams. And in fact, in my size at least, the Elites are a couple of grams lighter. So is the Elite as premium as the Japan? Well, no. No, it isn't, but it's actually closer than you might think, considering that you save €105. And I'd also say that these are easily as good in terms of quality as all the other top boots out there, and because it's also cheaper than most of the other top boots, I wouldn't hesitate calling this one of the best value for money boots that you can buy in 2021. And Finally, there is the Morelia Neo III Pro, which is built on the same last, so it has that same low-profile, sleek shape of the Elites and the Japans, but they're just 120 euros. The cool thing though is that you get the exact same leather forefoot as you do on the Elites, which is quite remarkable and actually also a little bit silly that they've managed to do that at this price point. You also get a standard youth-throw tongue, you get a synthetic leather midfoot, which is decently soft and comfortable, and you get an internal heel counter, which is good for comfort because it gives you less pressure, but on the other hand, you don't get the same amount of heel lockdown as you do on the more expensive models. Now, the drawback on the Pro is probably the outsole, because it's not as responsive and supportive as the other two boots. And there's also a bit of a weight increase because of the outsole and the internal heel counter, so it weighs 230 grams instead of 180. But if you can live with that, and the fact that these do look a little cheap around the edges, well, I'd say that it's, if not better, then at least on par with the best boots in the 120 euro price range. So if that is your budget-ish, you should definitely take a look at these. So to sum it up, the Mizuno Morelia Neo III boots here are a bit of a public secret because not everyone knows about them. And sure, they might not have a Nike swoosh or the same hype brand coolness as the bigger brands, but to me that's kind of a mistake because the quality on all three price points here is just sky high. And like I told you in the beginning, this 200 euro Morelia Neo III Beta Elite is just one of the best when it comes to getting the most value for money. But would said value for money be enough for you to want and buy a pair of Mizuno boots? Let me know in the comment section right down below. And then remember that you, of course, you can buy all of them via the link to Unisport right over there. With those words, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.